Why your trust will fail. I've been meaning to do this episode for, I would say, 2 months. And, life happened. And then I really didn't want to, honestly. But I'm doing it. So, why your trust will fail. Of course, I'm not talking to trustees here at here at the foundation. I do want to say that this is not, a negative Nick type of scenario. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm actually I actually will be sharing things with you that will help you. Knowledge is power, right? So, why your trust will fail. Thanks for checking us out. This is the foundation where we understand incorrect information incorrectly applied can get you hurt. Correct information incorrectly applied can get you hurt. So we are always applying correct information correctly here at the foundation. Thanks for joining us. My name is Sot L, seeker of truth L, speaker of truth L. And let's do the episode. I had to redo the whole system just on this PC. So if it sounds funny, I'm still dialing it in. This is the third time I've had to reinstall the operating system. So I apologize. It's testing me, y'all. It's testing me. Make sure you check out welcome to thefoundation.com. Sign up for the email list at the very least, por favor. We also currently are offering our trustee training. We have a silver, we have gold, and we have platinum. No longer do you have to email us and get, set up. We're all set. Or as the cop friend would say, you're good to go. With whether it's silver or gold or platinum. I would suggest you start at the very least with the silver. You can always upgrade, and then your one-time startup fee, if you do silver, right, and you want to upgrade to gold, we will reduce the gold fee by what you paid for the silver fee. So, if you sign up for the $1,000, you'll get $1,000 off. Obviously, a credit. It's time to do it, y'all. You file personal bankruptcy. But if your stuff is in trust, it's just one of those things, right? Silver, $75.78. It's down. It's looking bad. If you can do that, make sure that you dollar cost average $25, $50, $100 every 2 weeks, every month, whatever it is. Take that currency and go buy silver, however much you can get every single time. Just use the same amount. $75, 75 cents, $85, 8 cents, $10 spread, $9 and change. But we have a $10 spread. I point that out because it's significant. We're going to decline this down here. I point that out because it's significant. I also point it out because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people can't understand or comprehend that there's even 2 different silver markets on Earth. It's out here. Let's get into this though. 6 times trusts collapse due to incorrect funding. The house. Trusts are powerful tools for protecting assets, planning estates, and making sure your wishes are followed. But even the best trust can fall apart if it's not funded correctly. Funding a trust means moving assets into it, like retitling your house or transferring bank accounts. If you skip this step or do it wrong, the trust might not work at all. That can lead to court battles, lost money, and family stress. Many people think creating trust is enough, but the real work starts after the paperwork is signed. I would say it starts before that. Trustee training. But that's just me. Here are 6 real world situations where trusts collapsed because of incorrect funding and what you can do to avoid these mistakes. This is why your trust will fail. You're not titling anything in the trust. The house stayed outside the trust. A common mistake is forgetting to transfer the family home into the trust. Someone sets up a living trust. I don't like a living trust. We'll talk about that in a second. Stick around. But the deed to their house still lists their name, not the trust. When they pass away, the house isn't covered by the trust. The family has to go through probate, which is terrible. Probate is horrible. I would wish that on no one. No one. That should be like a sentence. Trial by your jury of your peers, and you're sentenced to 15 years of probate. You just got to sit in there and just probate. That's it. Just probate. Of course, non-violent crimes. But look at me. This happens more often than you think. If you want your trust to control your home, you need to sign a new deed and record it with your county. Otherwise, your trust is just a stack of paper. Number 2, bank accounts left behind. People often forget to move their bank accounts into their trust. Maybe they think a will is enough, or they just never got around to filling out the forms. But if your bank accounts are retitled in the name of your trust, those funds won't be managed by the trust if you die or become incapacitated. Eventually, we all out of here. This can mean delays, legal fees, and even the wrong people getting your money. Absolutely correct. Abandoned funds. The fix is simple. Go to your bank and ask them you would like to open a trust account, and then put the money in it. It's a small step that makes a big difference. I edited that real time. It was freestyle. Retirement accounts named incorrectly. Retirement accounts like IRAs or 401ks are tricky. You can't just retitle them in the name of your trust. Instead, you need to update the beneficiaries. Designations. If you name the wrong beneficiary or forget to update it after creating your trust, your retirement savings might not go where you want it to. In some cases, people have lost tax benefits or been forced to take out money faster than planned. Always do your due diligence, potentially including checking with a tax or financial advisor or estate planner before naming your trust as a beneficiary. The rules are strict and mistakes are costly. Life insurance policies not aligned. Life insurance is often a big part of an estate plan. It is more often than you think, but if you do not update the beneficiary to your trust, the payout might go directly to a person instead. Taxes. This can cause problems. If you want the money to be managed by minor children or protected creditors. In one case, a parent set up a trust for their children, but forgot to change the life insurance beneficiary. The money went straight to the children, who were too young to handle it. The court had to step in, and the process got expensive and stressful. Always double check your life insurance paperwork after you set up a trust. Number 5, business interests left out. If you own a business, you need to transfer your ownership shares into your trust. And this is a thing, and we walk you through all this stuff in Trustee training so that you don't really need training anymore. The whole point of training is that you finish training eventually, and you get to use what you learn. But this is a big one. Many people forget this step, especially with small family businesses or LLCs. When the owner dies, the business interest isn't covered by the trust, and the company can end up in probate. I got a friend dealing with it right now. This can disrupt operations, cause family fights, or even force a sale. To avoid this, work with your attorney or yourself. I don't necessarily recommend. Listen, an attorney is going to give you a state. What is it called? Governed trust. Is going to be governed by the state statutory law. I guarantee it. Go find a trust attorney who will create a trust that is not governed by the state where that attorney has its bar card. If you find one, call me. No, actually, if you find one, the foundation will give you $100. Foundation will give you $100. I'm not playing. Admin at welcometothefoundation.com. But good luck. Number 6, Personal property and collectibles ignored. People often focus on big assets like houses and bank accounts, but personal property matters. Things like jewelry, art, or family heirlooms can cause big problems if they're not included in the trust. In one case, a valuable coin collection was left out. The heirs fought over it, and the collection was eventually sold to pay legal fees. Ouch. To avoid this, make a list of your valuable items and include them in your trust documents. Some states let you attach a personal property memorandum to your trust, which makes it easy to update as you buy or sell things. Pay attention to how, if this stuff's in any way, shape, or form is written by attorneys, they're always going to defer to state statutes. But private trusts, no state statutes. Nope. Don't even file state returns. Nope. No. Unless there's a state implication, but generally there's not. And if there is, you did something wrong. You definitely did. To avoid this, make a list of your valuable items and include them in your trust documents. Remember that. Funding your trust is a real key. Setting up a trust is the first step. Funding your trust, making sure all your assets are actually owned by the trust or have the right beneficiaries is what makes it work. If you skip this, your trust can collapse and your wishes might not be followed. And, beneficiary, this stuff is important. It's important. If you're incapacitated, you have a stroke, the heirs can challenge. Well, he wasn't in his right mind when he created that trust or when he created that will. And I've seen it, I've seen him challenged due to, alleged mental incapacities, mental fitness, I think is what it's called. Why do trusts sometimes fail? This is another one. This goes through two reasons. Reason number one, based on the experience of this law firm, more than 30 years, blah, blah, blah. The most common reason trusts fail is that they are not funded. The purpose of the trust is to manage the assets held in it. In order for the trust to do its job, the assets need to be in the trust. If there are no assets in the trust, then the trust fails. Retitling the assets in the name of the trust is called funding the trust. People are like, how do I fund the trust? People always think about fiat currency. This right here is a jewel that they put in this little article. Retitling the assets in the name of the trust is called funding the trust. In effect, the trust owns the assets. Funding assets into a trust could, including signing, into a trust could, including sign, nope, let's take out that could, let's try that. Funding assets into a trust, including signing a new deed, retitling bank accounts, stocks, or other financial instruments, changing beneficiaries to your retirement could have tax implications, so be careful, or even your business ownership interests. If you want to ensure your assets go where they are intended to go, make sure you retitle your assets into the trust. And hey, those not for hire stickers, the plates not for hire, the only way to get those that I know of is the automobile, the conveyance, the whip. It's got to be titled in a trust. Another major reason, number two, why trusts fail to meet its intended purpose is that your priorities or life situation has changed and you did not reflect that change in your trust. Life sometimes gets in the way of our best laid plans. Maybe your documents were created years ago and have never been updated for additional children or second marriages. The assets we accumulate over a lifetime also change with the passage of time. The starter home in central Massachusetts, I like saying Massachusetts, I don't know. I'm just having a good time. That you first purchased as newlyweds may have been upgraded to a waterfront forever home on the Cape. Job changes that result in a different retirement plan can also affect your trust goals. There are many other examples, but what it really comes down to is what's important to you and how your priorities evolve over time. The good news, they sell trust. They'll probably help you out. It's going to be statutory. Anyways, are revocable trusts disregarded entities? Plus facts. Yes. A living trust. This is why I tell people, man. This is why I do. And I told you we would talk about this later. This is why I do not recommend these types of structures. Straight up. The only time I would ever recommend a living trust is it's one thing, right? And it's a very, very soft recommendation. It's not a hard recommendation. It's very, very soft. It's subtle. If you quote bought a house and there's still a mortgage on the house, you can create a living trust and title the house or the home in the name of the living trust, and it won't trigger the acceleration on the mortgage. Oh, by the way, I could be crazy. I should have said this earlier. I'm probably crazy. Do not think that I'm a lawyer, because I'm not. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not any of those things. I have no public certifications whatsoever. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only. And people like, hey, and people, well, if it's real, why do you say it's for entertainment? Some people just like to hoard information and not do anything with it. And that's their entertainment. Some people may think I'm funny and they just like to listen to hey, this guy is funny. I don't know. I'm not the one that can determine what is someone else's entertainment, but definitely for informational purposes, educational purposes. But not tax advice, not legal advice, none of that stuff. I can't do that. I'm just letting you know. I cannot do that. But that would be the only time that I would recommend a living. It protects from probate. Generally, it does not protect from creditors, but it will not trigger that the acceleration of the mortgage or the acceleration of the loan. In other words, the IRS treats it as a disregarded entity for federal income tax while the grantor is alive. Very important. Very, very, very important. It does not, if there's income going to that trust, doesn't matter. It's going to that individual. This is because the grantor retains full control and can revoke or change the trust. The trust's assets and income are reported on the grantor's personal tax return 1040 using their social security number. The trust does not file its own tax return 1041 or get a separate EIN as long as it remains revocable. Only once the trust becomes irrevocable, typically at the grantor's death, does it take on its own taxpayer identity. In practical terms, this means no separate trust taxes or EIN are needed for a living trust during a grantor's life. Here's a quick roadmap of what you'll learn in this article. And check this out. I just want to point this out. This was created by ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT all day. They didn't even edit it out. They just threw it up there with the emojis and everything in there. But hey, you too can build a website with ChatGPT, TPG, TTP, TG. Oh, let me quit playing. Tax basics: how a revocable living trust is treated under IRS. It's usually ignored as a separate entity. Grantor rules. The key grantor trust provisions, Internal Revenue Code subsection 676, that make the grantor liable for trust income taxes. You understand what I'm saying? You guys follow where I'm going with this? Trust versus entity. Comparisons between trust, LLCs, and corporations under federal law. Common pitfalls, mistakes to avoid, thinking you need an EIN or expecting tax savings. Immediate answer: are revocable trust disregarded entities? Yes, for federal tax purposes, a living revocable trust is essentially disregarded. In tax jargon, a revocable trust with one grantor is a grantor trust. The IRS recognizes 3 different types of trust. Do you know them? I know them. Say them with me now. Simple, grantor, complex. If you said them all with me, you get a prize. Email me, I'll send you a prize. No, I won't. Yeah, I will. Email me, I'll send you a prize. I promise. Meaning the IRS looks right through the trust and taxes the income to the person who granted it. This right here is not only relegated to revocable trust. This right here, this right here, this disregarded entity status. This is what the Internal Revenue Service for the state and for the federal government is looking to do every single time, because The tax rules for individuals are highly beneficial for the state and the federal government. The tax benefits for trusts are highly beneficial for the private family, but not for the government. Disregarded entity. So listen, I've seen Supreme Court case law where actual private trusts, what is known as common law trusts, but there's no such thing as a common law trust. There's no such thing. Just so you know, there's no such thing. Where actual private trusts have been disregarded, and it's always due to the trustee administration or lack thereof. Always. Here it is. Revocable trust owners think their trust is just a name for their assets. That's correct in the eyes of the IRS. A revocable trust is simply a container that avoids probate. Remember? It avoids probate, but not creditors. It doesn't create a new tax-paying entity while you're alive. Grantors report trust income on their 1040, exactly as if the trust didn't exist. Put it another way, the trust is treated like a pass-through entity. The only time the IRS recognizes the trust itself is after revocation. Once the grantor loses the power to revoke, usually upon death, the trust becomes irrevocable and does become a taxable entity. Now it needs its own EIN and files a 1041 as a separate taxpayer, but as long as it's revocable, it's ignored for income tax. And this is, listen, irrevocable, complex trusts that are governed by a contract with specific language with regards to the jurisdiction. 7 IRS rules that 7 IRS rules that may make your trust a disregarded entity. Yep, we just talked about that. Let's get to them. 7 circumstances. They are: 1, if the grantor of the trust has reversionary interest in any of the trust property, it's revocable. Number 2, if the grantor of the trust retains the power to control who benefits from or enjoys the trust property, it's revocable. 3, if the trust gives the grantor administrative powers over the trust, that's a revocable trust. That's not irrevocable. It's revocable. Number 4, if the grantor has the power to revoke the trust, you know exactly what that is. Obviously, the word's right in there. Number 5, if the trust gives income for the benefit of the grantor. Nope. Can't be the grantor and the beneficiary. Number 6, if the trust gives the power to receive all of the trust income in a third party. Whoops. That's like an assignment or something. That's not cool. A third party, and you got to be careful, right? A third party would not be a beneficiary. A beneficiary would be a party, a direct party to the contract. Same thing with a trustee, same thing with a grantor. Number 7, if the trust is a foreign trust with at least one beneficiary who is a United States citizen. Oh. And they'd be like, oh, well, so how do we get away from that? Just don't make a U.S. citizen the beneficiary. That's simple. That's it. For me, I mean, but I've been doing this for a long time, right? But you're just getting started, right? As soon as you sign up for Trustee training. Welcome to thefoundation.com. I know if you weren't if you weren't subscribed to the email list prior to today, you missed out. And I'm saying you missed out. We've decided that there are things that we're only offering to people who are on the email list, period. So you missed out. You really missed. And I'm not even going to tell you what it is, because I don't want you mad at me. You ain't sending me hate email. No. But sign up for the email list. We generally do, promotions about twice a year. But I wouldn't wait. If you have the currency right now, you should stop waiting and get to work. All of these, so whether it's silver, gold, or platinum, you get a complimentary 60-minute consultation with me. You can do it right away. You can wait a couple months. It's completely up to you. Now, gold, you get 2 monthly calls with support. And he's good. He's really good. And then with platinum, You get unlimited monthly calls with me, and you get my private mobile number. And I say, just call me. Just call me. I'd rather you don't text me, because if I read the text, it's unread. But if you call me and I miss the call, even if I look at my call list, I still have a missed call. Emails, good luck. Yeah, that's usually for people who are not trustees. So trustees who have my number, I mean, you can email me if you absolutely have to. And then there's people who will email me and then, give me a call and say, hey, I sent you an email. Perfect. I love that. But, this right here, I mean, unlimited monthly calls, unlimited. We can talk. There's no limit. And I think that, this platinum is definitely, hands down, the best deal. Hands down. So, you get all the Black's Law dictionaries, not all of them, but you get several of them. It's like 1 through 10. How to exchange the assets, we show you. It's there. 128 positive court citations supporting contract trust. You get that. You get the trust secrets. I'm sorry, that's a typo. It's the trust series. I think that should be the trust series. Anyways, you get Trustee training, which is the weekly audio video call. Where every Sunday, it's 5 p.m. Eastern. We do that every Sunday. And you get physical, hard copies of our private trust manual. Not available in stores. You can't buy it anywhere. You'll get the Passport No Social Parts 1 and 2. Our monthly newsletter. Wow. Monthly newsletter. And you will definitely get priority email support. Of course, that's with support at welcometothefoundation.com. But, with Platinum, you got my number. Either way, we'll talk for 60 minutes. We generally go over. I don't keep it to the 60-minute time. Even in the consultation, like if you book a consultation just off the website, 9 times out of 10, we're going to talk longer than an hour. We definitely are. And I don't have a problem with that. I love serving people. I love serving y'all. I love helping y'all get to a situation that you're thankful for. Just last week on trustee training, one of the trustees, shared their story about how, getting into trustee training changed their life for the better. And, certain ways how it did it and stuff. And, I don't really do, testimonials on the website because, we focus on and respect privacy. But I really do appreciate it when, people who were in trustee training or still are in trustee training, share their experience of how just learning this and using this information has changed their life, and how what they paid, even though at first it seemed like a lot, I've never heard anyone say that it was too much at the end. When they finally got moving and saw the benefits, I've never heard anyone say it was too much. I've heard a lot of people say that they got a great deal. I've heard a lot of people say that, they want to work with the foundation, they want to give back because they feel like they got such a good deal. But I've never heard anyone say that that it was too much. At first, yes. At the end, no. But trust you learned something. Y'all enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure you say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight and every night. It's very important. And I'll catch y'all tomorrow on current events. Peace, y'all.